Often asked by women in the polarity sense of relationships where men lead and the ladies follow along and are the cheerleader, what they do when the man fails and they start to question his competency and they lose trust. Um, this is a hard one for sure because, especially if you get married and you had kids, he took a big leap and it didn't work out. Um, this is not the time to kick him while he's down. It's not great. He's going to feel disrespected, and it's going to have a rift for you and your relationship with your kids, and him and everything else. It's going to be hard to recover from there, but it is recoverable. Um, but in general, what I'm suggesting that you do in this situation is think about it in this analogy. So you're on a ship, right? With him. You got on the ship that he told you to get on because he thought you were beautiful, and you went on because you're like, all right, that sounds fun. Let's do it. You end up in a relationship. Now you're committed. You're on his ship, right? He's steering it. And maybe you end up through years down the line going faring just well, just fine. He's providing to some extent, and you guys are happy. And then he decides to take one entrepreneurial endeavor and it doesn't work out. You lose a lot of money. Maybe you're in debt. It's a scary place. It's rough. And it's kind of like he just ran the ship right into the rocks. And all of a sudden, uh, you're stuck out at sea. And then all of a sudden, you end up on an island, right? You know, in this scenario, from the ship to the island, it should be you saying, "Go, Bryan! Go, Bryan! Go, Bryan!" And always cheerleading, even if you did wreck, and even in the water, still being supportive and not harshly judging him. And then in that moment, you might prevent yourselves from from drowning, right? Because if you're just criticizing him and being terrible, uh, it can reduce his inspiration. He may not perform very well because you're not his father. You're not his brotherhood, right? Men are supposed to be the ones doing this, not the ladies. And so it reduces his inspiration. He doesn't perform very well. And then on the island, should do the same. Oh, we're starving, but go, Bryan! And because of that inspiration that you've applied, he may end up stringing together some palm trees and some coconuts and whatever else is there, and get you guys sailing through, and you end up being picked up by a cruise ship. And you have a great time together when you get back, and he makes another ship and you get to set sail again and have a great time and live a happy life, right? So there's always time to rebuild. What can't be rebuilt sometimes is heavy disrespect and um, completely saying the things that just really should not be said, and when in a scary place like feeling anxiety and feeling insecure about like a financial situation and just saying something that you regret, like sometimes we can really wear on our lovers and it really hurts the relationship. It's not to say it can't recover. It can absolutely recover, but it's hard to. So take that in mind, ladies. Try to be inspirational and resilient. Like uh, anxiety is a huge driver of this. So think about other things like example is coffee, caffeine in general, spikes cortisol, lowers your estrogens, lowers your androgens, makes you more anxious. Um, Tons of sugar, microbes eating that sugar, offloading a whole bunch of metabolites that hurt your neurotransmitters. All these things matter a lot. There's so much more that applies to anxiety, and the anxiety itself brings on that masculine side, and it really can end up tearing into the guy, and then he's no longer feeling inspired, and then just it can end up being life or death in those scenarios. So just really be his cheerleader, life and death. Like just go for it. You got on his ship, so the best thing that you can do is be inspirational.